no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one of the greatest days and the greatest bands of all time. It is 3/11.
Yes.
I couldn't
Throwback
name
to the
one,
90s.
I couldn't name one 3/11 song. Maybe These Are the Nights? Is that 3/11?
You know what's glorious about this show? We can do research on the air.
That's it. And that's why we love it. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is YSN Live. My name is DJ Yoakley, and I am joined by the heart and soul of all the sports here in the area. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the two wheels, Anthony.
According to Apple Music, their most popular song is Amber. I've never heard it. Amber by 311.
Amber is the color of her energy.
Yeah, you're right.
Whoa.
And then Down, Love Song, All Mixed Up are the four top songs.
Love Song.
I'd play it, but we'd get copyright struck pretty quick.
These Are the Nights. I want to say These Are the Nights is 311. Am I wrong?
I'm looking.
These are the nights.
Yeah, I'll just search These Are the Nights. That's probably it.
We have Middle Ridge softball joining us. Lily Marilillo, Sydney Wiley.
Like Wiley Coyote.
I saw that. That was a good little play there, buddy.
And then the co-head coaches of the Middle Ridge softball program, Will Sandy and Joe Marilillo, who split the head coaching duties. And by the way, the head coaching salary. So the little coaches get paid. They're splitting anyway. So
wait, hey, what's better than making no money? Making half of no money.
Exactly.
Way to go, boys. We're proud of you out there. And you covered my tail yesterday in doing those because, man, it's quite the practice at the second grade and under basketball league here at athletics for the South Range Little Raiders. Boy. Luke Rowan showed up, guest appearance, which I always love. I always think that it's great when student athletes give back and showcase. And Luke Rowan shows up and he's playing knockout with the kids. He's showing kids how to shoot. He's showing them how to, D up. An all-star doing that for them. And again, we've talked about Luke Rowan at length on this show. I think the world of him. You think the world of him. Just another reason, just another feather in his cap.
Right.
Last night was very cool. But in doing so, in watching that, I completely lost track of time, and you took over those interviews. So
I got you,
sir. Thank you. I appreciate you and all the hard work that you're putting forth here for YSN Live and for YSNLive.com. We're gonna try to stretch this. We got a 145 with the one, the only Frederick Merrill Moots, the head coach of Boardman girls softball. What if his middle name was actually Merrill?
I hope so. I really do.
That's the first question for Fred.
I'm sure he hasn't been called Frederick in a long time either.
Frederick, is your middle name Merrill? That's going to be the first question.
Not too many people we'd stretch that far for, but Fred Moots is an OG. So we'll tap dance to 145 for him.
Yeah, that's a big stretch, and he better keep it tight. Like we're on a big time constraint at 145.
Can't ramble, coach.
You know he's going to. I mean, when the first question is, "What's your middle name?" You're in for a 20-minute interview.
Yeah, it'll go back to his family tree. It all goes back to my great ancestry who came.
Well, it all goes back to it's Merrill. Your new middle name is Merrill.
It's Merrill now.
And then we've got. Let's give a little bit of a teaser. The rest of the week we have some Canfield Cardinal baseball
Yep.
that Ty Bartel did that we're going to be putting on the show.
Tomorrow we'll have Jeff DeRose live on the show.
Spanky.
We
You think
got
Mineral's bad? Spanky's even better.
we have a state champion wrestler coming on with Wrestling Wednesday tomorrow as well. Braden Feaster from Hoban, the state champ. He'll be on with us.
That's
we
huge.
have Nicole Waite from Howland Softball on Thursday. We have Jim Hannock coming on Friday. from
And
Baseball.
and one of the judges for the slam dunk contest is going to join us on
Yes.
Friday. The one, the only, from Channel 21 WFMJ, Brittany Bissell. Double B
Yes.
is joining us on the show. We're excited to have her as part of it. You know we love Channel 21, but Britt is the best in the business, and she's a local girl, Wellsville girl.
Mhm.
So we'll talk to her about how she came to be, what sports journalism means to her and why it's so important, why this area is so important to her. And naturally, what if she's going to be a stern judge or if she's going to be kind of easy on the scores. So we're excited for it. It's a big week here on YSN
I think
Live.
last year we had some smokescreen answers from the judges. Said they'd be soft, and then when they got there, things change when they're under the lights a little bit and the pressure's
were
on. You have
tight.
to rate a number.
Things were tight. It was fast and furious, and old Madison got caught up in some of the hubbub, the dust up. But to her defense, I mean, you come out with what was it, East Bay or between the legs dunk right out of the gate? Yeesh, that's some pressure. Duncan Moy, we appreciate you. We'll never forget. Never forget Duncan Moy. Never ever. We got some great dunkers.
Oh yeah.
Still working on that champ. Still working on Nick Ryan. Champ's got to be in it. That's all. As far as I'm concerned, if you're eligible and you're invited to this thing, man, you should be in it. You should be in it. And if you're out there and you can dunk, you can put it down, and you want to be part of it, hey, we're at the first come, first serve basis right now. We got 3, I believe, that I know of.
Yeah, and then we just got one last night, in Ricardo from Ursuline.
Jace
That's
Ricardo.
a high flyer. That's a high flyer.
I mean, we got guys that are like 6'6", 6'7". Then we got Nick Ryan that just Superman, jumps out of the gym, can fly, literally. Graham Hagenin from South Range, he told me, hey, people are going to look at me and they're going to say, I can't do anything. I'm going to surprise them. And I'm looking forward to that surprise. Looking forward to it. They just think we're farm boys down here in Mahoning and Columbiana County. No. We're the high flyers. Maybe not me, but I know high flyers.
We'll get you a trampoline.
No, I don't want a trampoline. My mom said that's how you break your arm. My mom said that's how the insurance goes up. Let's talk the Mineral Ridge. I mean, by the way, folks, it's spring season. With all due respect to our friends in Louisville, which we are rooting for until the Rooster Crows, we are 100% in spring season. We got to prep up for this. We are a go. Because if you haven't been outside yet today, whoo, baby, get outside, reconnect with that big glowing ball in the sky that radiates heat, and get ready because we got some softball, some baseball, some track, some field, some lacrosse. It's all coming your way here on YSN. And we had the lovely ladies of Mineral Ridge join Anthony last night. And give us a little background on Mineral Ridge, why it's so important, why this sport in particular is so important to them.
Well, this is one of the teams in Mineral Ridge that is feeling very confident going into this season. They have a roster that features all but one player from last year. They did lose one senior. You never want to discount the impact that a senior has on a team. And Aaliyah Wall, they congratulated her and thanked her for everything that she did last year. But when you're returning everyone else and the entire infield, the entire outfield, both your pitchers, you feel kind of a little bit of a swagger coming into the season. They're looking around the MVAC. They know it's going to be a grind, but they also feel confident that they can be the team that comes out on top of that conference. And Coach Sandy and Coach Marilillo both say in their interview that that's their first goal. win the conference first and foremost, get that number they can put into the gym on the banner, and then, go from there. They got to the district championship last season, ran into a buzzsaw that we know is Matthews in softball. They're hoping to get right back to that doorstep this year. And like I always like to say, kick down the door this time around. You're knocking on it a little bit, kick it down, ram it down, whatever you want to do, whatever. Well, ram actually worked pretty well for me.
Ram it down.
Ram it down and get themselves in the regionals. They have a really talented group, and it's going to be fun to watch. They have speed. They have two very experienced slappers, which I think maybe the rest of the YSN family, I don't know if any team has two experienced and talented slappers in their lineup. So that's really fun to watch because it's hard to defend a slapper in softball if they get the ball where they want to get it. Like I said, two returning pitchers that they'll have a two-headed monster there in the circle, good defense behind them. Everything's kind of looking up for Middle Ridge softball right now.
And you and I have talked about this is a generation of Middle Ridge girls sports that is unlike any that I remember seeing in my time in high school, previous to that, and then all the way up. I mean, this is a group of girls from probably 7th grade on up through seniors that are accustomed to and expect to win. And I'm guessing that this Ridge softball team doesn't necessarily stray too far off that path.
If they do win the MVAC this year, it'll be a three-peat. Volleyball won it, basketball won it. If softball wins it, they'll sweep the board in girls team sports across the three.
Oh, they got to get track too.
Don't forget. Yeah, team sports. That's why team sports.
Gotcha.
Underline that.
There's
so
a track team.
Yeah. Okay.
Golf.
True. Technically true. Okay.
I mean, let's go here. Let's give a little credit where credit's due there, Mr. Ram.
Well, they'll have 3 straight sports seasons with an MVAC championship.
There we go. That's
journalism.
Journalism, man. That's where it's at. That's why we graduate with those budding diplomas on our wall. I'm excited for this. I know that I had a chance to preview it a little bit, sneak peek it, and just make sure that number one, it worked. Number two, that we're good to go. I mean, you just never know. It's never you, Ant. It's always the technology,
right?
And want to make sure that because Twitter wasn't working, X was down yesterday. You and I were trying to figure out why the ratings were a little bit lower than they were yesterday. That was because X was down. X is back, baby. Hey, Elon, way to bring it back.
Give it to you.
Way to bring it back, Elon. You can knock him down, but he ain't gonna stay down. X is back, and so are our followers. So we appreciate you being with us. And without further ado, what am I doing? Why don't you intro this one, Anthony? And I'll throw it up on the screen for you.
All right, without further ado, we will start with the senior pitcher for Middle Ridge. She's got the gas in the circle. She knows how to throw the flame, and she was going to burn bright this season as a senior. It is Lily Marilillo from Middle Ridge. Anthony Hartwig here with a Middle Ridge softball player profile. We are joined by senior Lily Marilillo. Lily, thank you so much for coming on talking to us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about senior year. What's been the emotions like this year to deal with all the laughs that come along with senior season?
I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of difficult keeping up with everything, and I've been with these group of girls my entire life, and it's kind of really difficult. It's very emotional for me.
We all know that senior year can be a little bit challenging trying to navigate all that. What's been like kind of the things that you've been doing to try to keep it all in front of you?
I've been trying to keep it all in front of me. I've been trying to keep it close with my senior group. We've been going out after practices, and we're going to keep that going. And at practice, we just kind of lift everyone up if everyone's getting down. And me personally, I've just been putting in the extra hours. When today is a beautiful day, I'm probably going to go pitch after practice here, and yeah.
Wait, can we pause and talk? You're going to go pitch after practice? Practice wasn't enough?
Oh, I didn't get to pitch today because we were kind of running short on time today, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Let's talk about you in the circle and pitching for one last time. Talk about kind of what the goals are, what the mindset is going into the circle for your senior season.
My mindset this year is all I know is I'm gonna have the best defense behind me, backing me up, and I just gotta throw these strikes and keep working at it any chance I get.
What's your favorite thing about being a pitcher and towing that circle?
My favorite thing about being a pitcher is probably the pressure that comes with it. I like that feeling of kind of just depending on where it's going, because you can't hit the ball if it's not in play with the pitcher striking down. So I like the feeling of you got to do it. You have to hone it in and put that strike in. So
when you think about that pressure, right? Maybe it's a bases loaded situation. You guys are up by 1. You can't give up another run. You got to get this win. What keeps you like calm, cool, and collected in that moment?
Okay, so bases are loaded. I have to get this. I have to get this pitch. I usually think, I know I have my strong defense behind me. So if they hit this ball, and if it's a pop-up or a grounder, I know that my defense is going to help me out and get that out and just focus on the next play.
You know, we're sitting here talking about the end of your high school journey, but I also want to talk about kind of the beginning and get reflective about it. When did you kind of fall in love with softball and make it something that you wanted to put time in and work hard at?
I fell in love with softball probably when I was like 5, 4, if I have the right age, very young. I have loved softball my entire life. I played volleyball and basketball in 7th and 8th grade and throughout high school, but I've always picked softball as my main sport. I just love the feeling out on the field, and the team chemistry my whole life has been perfect. It's like a family. It's like my family.
Were you always a pitcher, or did pitching come in later on?
I was always a pitcher. I took off. It was like 1 year because there's COVID. It was COVID, and I had to have been in like 7th or 8th grade. I didn't pitch 1 year because there was a mix up in this whole one of my lessons, and I kind of slacked that year. But I wish I would have pitched that year, because I feel like I would know more and be a little bit more experienced, but it's okay.
This team is bringing back all but one player from last year's squad. Everyone's it's kind of like, hey, let's have this, let's run it back this year. It was what it feels like for Middle Ridge. What's that like to be on a team where you look around and everyone's kind of back from the last year and you had so much success, especially in the postseason a year ago? What's that like to kind of bring it back for one more run?
It's really nice, especially like I said, the family that I've built over time. It's really sad that we got to say bye to Leah Wall. We miss her, but the freshmen coming up, they're really talented. We have really high expectations for them. I know they're gonna help us out a lot this year, so I'm very excited to have the same crew back.
You're also in a kind of unique spot, especially for high school softball. A lot of high school teams rely on one pitcher to do a bulk of their innings, but we all know Middle Ridge, it's you and Savannah and even a freshman, Milonen, coming in this year to maybe take some innings from you as well. What's it like knowing that like you don't have to be out there every day? You don't have to have your A game every day. You have pitchers behind you that can come in relief and take innings off of your shoulders.
I love it. It's wonderful. Last year, Savannah also had that ability to do that with me, but this year I just have a feeling now there's 3 of us, it's going to be a lot better. And with me and Sav, we play the same position, so if one's pitching, one's shortstop, it's going to be good, especially with Alyssa coming in.
I want to talk about that rotation. Like when you're pitching, she's short, and then when she's pitching, you go to short. It's almost just like a merry-go-round. Whoever wants to be short that day. What's your favorite part of playing defense behind her when she's the one in the circle?
Well, kind of having that same as when I'm pitching, I know my defense is behind me, and I love that we can just swap, and I know Savannah's right behind me, and when I'm behind her, I just know that I'm going to do my best for her, because I would expect the same from her.
We're talking to the coaches about the bulk up schedule that you have this year. We see Boardman twice. We see LeBray, Poland, and many more that are really going to test you guys all season. What's that like for you as a senior to know that, you know, this schedule is going to be tough and you have to grind through it? And how excited are you to face those challenges?
I'm very excited. I'm glad that they put all those on our schedule so we can just be prepared for the next step. We've been building up since my freshman year, and now I think we can do something great with the team we have and the team that we're building on. So I'm very excited to play all these pretty good teams, pretty difficult teams. Yeah, especially Boardman. I'm excited.
This program keeps building. You keep building off the year prior, which means next year when you graduate, there's going to be a lot of players still left to build even more. What kind of legacy do you want to leave the players of the future? What kind of things do you want them to take away from being your teammate?
From being my teammate, a legacy I want to live on from when I leave is I don't want anyone to, of course you're going to get down, but you have to help each other back up. We always, right now is a good spot. We always have to have each other's backs. That's like the one key part of the team. If that goes, then it just starts crumbling. I really want to leave that behind for the rest of the girls. We just got to keep picking each other up. So.
And then I also want to talk about off the field a little bit. We'll start with the schoolwork, of course. You're a student athlete. Student comes first in that word for a reason. What are some of your favorite subjects, and how has the senior year of class been treating you?
Senior year, it's kind of difficult for me right now. There's just a lot of work going on, and especially with softball and working in the extra hours. And it's a lot of work. Right now, my favorite subject is ceramics. It's a new one for me this year, and I actually really like it. That's like an art class, but for subject-wise, it would probably be anatomy.
Hey, art counts, okay? I'm not going to take that
it
away
does.
from you. If ceramics is your favorite, then by golly, work that pottery. When you think about, it's like you said, it's hard this year. A lot of seniors we talked to are on the other side of the fence where they've put in so much time and work in their first 3 years that their senior year is the one where they have a lot of credits taken care of and they don't have a lot more of their hard classes done. So since you're on the flip side, what's it been like trying to grind through, save off senioritis a little bit, and keep working hard throughout your senior year?
It's been good. It's just, like I said, it's been really difficult. Just at the end of the question, I'm so sorry. You glitched out there a little bit. I didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about senioritis. Like where are we with the senioritis? Are you is it kicking in hard now?
It is. It is kicking in hard. It is so hard for me to actually click, like, I have to turn in this assignment because it's due tomorrow. I waited, but we got it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm on it the night before. I'm like, I have to do it. It's getting there. I only have 2 months, 2 months. Graduate in May 17th, so I'm excited for that day.
If you make it to state, you can graduate on the field, which I'm sure would be
True.
the best way to.
That would be the best way. That would be the best way to go out.
When you do graduate and you kind of get that diploma and you reflect on all the things that you've accomplished, whether it be on the field, on the court, in the school, what are going to be some things that you're really proud of yourself for being able to accomplish in your career?
I'm going to be really proud of, like I said, I hoped that I left a legacy behind. I'm going to be proud of the team that we have all built, us seniors, growing up with them and leaving an impact on them. Everything I've helped in, like I mentioned, I played basketball, and we've won league both years. I'm glad that I left that behind with me. In softball, I hope to leave a big one behind. So, yeah.
Then we also have to ask about your dad being on the coaching staff, being one of the head coaches, co-head coaches for this Middle Ridge team. You got one more year with it. What's it like to kind of have one more go round with your dad to be a coached by him?
Yeah, he's coached me my entire career except for my freshman year, but I still did summer ball, so he kind of still did. But it's gonna be hard. Sometimes I have to go home and I have to be like, "You're my dad now, not my coach." I have to tell the difference. But I can't do that anymore after, and it's really sad. It's gonna be difficult. I know when I reach that last game, it's gonna be pretty heartbreaking. But I'm gonna miss having him yell at me all the time.
Now, how good is he flipping that switch from dad to coach? Is he pretty good?
He's really good. It's coaching here, dad at home, but sometimes that's like in the middle, and I'm like, okay, dad talk, just dad talk, not coach talk. But he's pretty good with it. Sometimes I have to be like, okay, not coach talk, but he's good.
You know,
with it.
you can review the tape if you want to, but in his coach's corner, when we asked him the same question about coaching you one last time, there were some emotions, maybe some tears. You know, you might be able to zoom in and see it. You know, he might deny
Just
it.
a little
But
bit. I
he
have to
might
zoom
deny it. But if you crop it and zoom in, you might be able to see it coming out. You
Might be a
know,
little emotion going on.
when you talk about, you know, him being a part of your journey, but I don't want to leave mom out either, because she gets to be that buffer between coach and daughter. What's her role in this whole journey?
She, since rec, since I was little, obviously she's always supported every fundraiser we've done, everything. But now that he is one of the head coaches, she has done everything in her power to go with fundraisers, be here for us. She even set up a concession stand with some other moms just for us to get some more money and everything, all on her own, with other mothers' helps, of course. But yeah, it goes back to dad switching on and off that coaching switch. And sometimes my mom has to step in and be like, okay, she's just talking to you as her dad, not the coach. So she comes in with that too, but she's supporting both of us a lot, and I can't thank her enough for that.
That's nice to hear that she has your back a little bit, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So then I want to talk about your future after high school, after graduation. What are some things that are on the horizon for Lily Marilillo?
Well, right now I am actually committed to teal. I'm wearing the sweatshirt for softball, so
I was teeing you up for it because I saw it when you were walking to the dugout.
That was not planned.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I want to major in exercise science, and I'm going to play there for softball. So I'm really excited I get it will be my last time ever playing at Middle Ridge, but I'll go in for another 4 years and play it there. So I'm very excited for that.
Does it make the emotions of senior year a little bit less knowing that you still have softball to play? It's not going to be your last time playing the sport?
Yes and no, because it's not going to be my last time playing the sport, but it's going to be the last time playing with the people that I love and, like I said, grew up with again, but that I feel like had a second family with my entire life. So it's going to be very difficult for that, but knowing that I'm going to keep playing, that's a very good plus, and it's not really that emotional, but definitely leaving behind my dad being the coach, Coach Will. He's coached me in basketball and everything, so it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very sad.
Talk about teal. We'll make it happy, right? Talk about teal and what made it feel like home to you, and what made it easy to make that decision that that's where you wanted to go.
I went to go visit a couple other schools, and when I stepped on campus, this is an odd thing to say, but I kept saying, "Where's the color? I need the color. Where's the upbeat?" I really wanted that because I want to really love the place. So we visited Teal, and everyone was so nice and very wave, smile, everything. And I got in the building, I'm like, it's very colorful in here. It was very bright, and I loved it. I loved it there. And I met the team, first time ever meeting the team. They all gave me a hug, and they're very supportive of trying to get me to see what my decision was. So yeah.
I can't hear you describe the colors without asking what your favorite color is. I mean, that says right there.
Well, my favorite color is dark green.
Okay.
So, yeah,
forest green. Right, we're talking evergreen, forest, pine green, that kind of awesome.
Yeah, we're talking forest green, dark green. I like that.
Awesome. Well, you're gonna be blue and gold for the next 4 years. Congratulations on that.
I might have to change my color here soon.
I know. And you got orange for 3 more months, orange and black.
Yes.
Lily, we want to end these player profiles the same way that we do every time. We want to give you the chance to thank your support system, all the people that are there for you, that support you, and give shout outs to the people in your life that you think really deserve it.
Yes. I want to give a big shout out, obviously, to my family and my parents, obviously my dad who's been coaching, My mom, like I said, she supported us through everything, all our fundraiser, everything. My grandparents, they come to every game they can. All of my family extended. I love seeing them up in the stands or in the past the fence. All my friends come to watch our games. I love seeing it, and especially all my coaches and teachers. Even teachers, they have helped me even if I haven't had a homework assignment done because I've been working at the field all day. They understand, and I really want to thank them for that, and especially my coaches for everything. My whole coaching throughout my life, I wouldn't be here who I am without all of the coaches I had, every single one of them. So.
All right, Lily, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck this year and the whole team, and we can't wait to talk again real soon.
Okay, thank you for having me.
I don't know what happened yet. We're back in it. We're back.
We're good. We're good.
Something's got to get fixed there. That's it's a real problem.
You're a real problem.
Great interview. It's a weird time of year for these seniors, though, and I think you're figuring it out with some of these interviews. Not that Lily did a great job with that, and I'm sure that it wasn't awkward, but it's got to be awkward for them because they're trying to get ready for essentially the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And there's this little part left of senior year that, like we talked about yesterday, very condensed. And, she made mention that May 17th is her graduation date. And you sit there and you go, okay, it is the 11th of March right now. You've got approximately 2 months. And for all intents and purposes, your high school career is over. You know what I mean? They still could be and probably will be playing softball past that, my guess. But there's that part of you that's like, okay, like you're still like on, and it's a very challenging part. I think I remember going through it myself. Like you have battles in your head. You're like, all right, like I'm done. Why am I here? Like there's the commitment to your team, your friends, your coaches, your school, your community, all of that. Right. But you're like, I'm ready to go. And there's like, and then you graduate and there's like 3 months until you're really gone. So kudos to these seniors and Lily for talking about it. These kids are smarter than they've ever been. They're more prepared than they've ever been before for the next step. And I think that because there's more people than ever playing sports, there's better ideologies to get prepared for how to prepare for the next step, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think, we're seeing kids get mature a lot quicker than they used to.
There it is. Yep.
Because they're in sports earlier or they're doing things earlier. There's more to do when you're in 5th and 6th grade now than there used to be. It used to be you didn't really start maturing at all until maybe you hit late middle school. Now you start maturing a little bit more when you're in 5th and 6th grade. And then you see some of these 7th graders today. And they're, because I volunteer sometimes with a youth group at church, and I see some of these 7th graders walk through, and I go, when I was in 7th grade, I wasn't doing half the things you're doing. Like, they're already learning, like, foreign languages in school. They already have Spanish classes. I'm like, I didn't touch a foreign language until I was a freshman in high school. And you already have half of it down in 7th grade. So there's just more being thrown at them at an earlier age, whether it be sports or school or life, that I think we've ever seen before in generations past.
Which language did you take?
I took Spanish, 3 years of Spanish.
Do you remember a lot of it?
I do, especially from the college Spanish I had to take as a communications, in the communication path. I was telecommunications, but it still counted as you needed those foreign language classes.
That's interesting.
I've told the story of Mr. Papalardo at South Range. He came in my junior year, my last year of Spanish. First 2 years of Spanish, the teacher there, God love her, she was, near retirement. I think she kind of checked out because all she taught us was like vocab, no sentence structure at all. We just knew what words were. We couldn't put them together into any kind of a sentence. So Mr. Papalardo came in expecting us to be like junior level Spanish speakers. And we're like, we know what stuff means, maybe. So he had to kind of start us from scratch and really dive deep into what, talking and speaking in Spanish really meant. And that helped a lot when I got into college because I didn't go into that class blind, like I would have if I didn't have his class for 1 year. But yeah, I remember that, for some reason, I don't know if you get it when you're streaming, but I started to get a lot of Spanish commercials, like Spanish Febreze and Spanish Tide for some reason.
Yeah, there's
And
something to that.
I can follow it, like
Can you really?
I mean, I don't know every word or know, but I hear the things. I'm like, I kind of know what that means. I know what they're saying, Aura means like now. So when they say like, when they're trying to say like buy this now for, the price, it's Ahora, which means like right now. So like there are trigger words to kind of tell you where they're going with things that I can kind of pick up.
I like to think that I'm trilingual at this point. And by trilingual, I mean that I can understand very little Spanish, very little French, and somewhat English, depending on who's speaking. But I've told my wife before, and I told my parents in high school, they pushed me towards French, even though I wanted to take Spanish because I was a baseball player. I'm like, oh, I'm going to need this when I'm playing
Right.
in Mexico. And they're like, no, you should probably take French. So I took French in high school, and I loved it. I mean, it was the language of love.
Yes, very
And
romantic.
and then I got to college, and they're like, yeah, our French classes are all booked, so you're gonna have to take Spanish. And the lady just goes, it's the same thing. And I was like, oh, I'm good.
There's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of root words that are kind of the same.
Hey, spoiler alert. No, there's not. And they say I'm completely different. And guess what? I'm glad I took Spanish for the only reason. One reason. I take 1 year of Spanish. And the first day I looked out the window thinking, man, this is just too much for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take this class. And there was the most beautiful woman I've ever laid eyes on in my life. And I ended up marrying her. Hey,
There you
Spanish,
go.
we love you. We love you.
Everything happens for a
Olé!
reason.
So that's my Spanish story. My
Muy
linguistic
bonito.
story. Oh,
Oh.
muy bien. I think I don't know what that means. I
No,
probably
that's very good. You're good. That's
Okay.
very muy bien. Very good.
yeah. So yeah, just these kids, they got a lot on their plate, and you said the maturity standpoint, and I think that an understanding of mental health has a lot to do with that,
Mhm.
with parents nowadays and teachers, and um, you know, just everybody has a good understanding of, okay, there's bigger expectations on these children, these kids, these student athletes than ever before. And I think there's an appreciation for that, across the board. And I think that gives them a little bit of grace. Whereas when we're growing up, it was you get very little grace or you get the belt. You know what I mean? You got to pick your poison. You get
Pick your
grace, you get the belt.
Right.
I got the belt. But it's a situation where you look at these kids and you go, man, like they are impressive. More than I argue more than ever before, they are impressive, but it's also because they have parents and people around them. They have inner circles that are smarter than ever before. And think about it. If you're in a circle of 6 people, you're going to be more like those people than anybody else on the planet. The people you hang out with, the 5 people you hang out with the most, you're going to be like those people more than anybody else, whether that's your family, your friends, whoever. Even if the people you don't like, if you end up having to be around them more than others in your life, unfortunately, you're probably going to end up more like them than you believe. So that's why you got to be very conscious of who you hang out with. But I think these young people are. And we heard Lily talk so much and so highly about her teammates and, how I forget the word she used, but, how sad she's going to be to leave them here in a couple months and what she wants to leave behind. It's incredible. But then, Ant, you got to talk to her teammate.
Yeah, another senior from Mineral Ridge in Sydney Wiley, who's one of their 2 consistent slappers that has been, experienced, has been slapping since a very young age. And I love as a softball nerd, when I hear someone say they've been slapping since they were younger, that gets me fired up, because what I see a lot, which kind of grinds my gears a little bit, is someone comes into high school, maybe they're 13 or 14, and the coach just looks at them and says, "Hey, you're fast. let's just switch you to left-handed and we'll just teach you how to slap, as if it's that easy to just kind of teach someone how to slap in like a year or two. Like, no, these girls that start young, that's the ones that you're like, those slappers are dangerous because they know exactly where to put the ball. Their footwork is on point. Their bat angles are always on point. Those are the ones that are really dangerous. And Sydney Wiley kind of fits that category. Very hard to defend, especially in high school when your infielders probably aren't all locked down. And, there's probably going to maybe be a hot corner or a shortstop that they play that, can't charge a ball that gets hit slowly to the gap. And then make a throw on the run. That's what you're going to have to do to stop these girls from getting on base. And then once they do get on base, they are fast enough to just turn that single into a double, right? So that's what's always fun. Sydney Wiley, a great interview to hear from, and another great senior. They have 5 seniors on the team this year. And as the season goes on, we'll definitely dig into all 5 of them.
Slap me, Sydney.
Anthony Hartwig here with a Mineral Ridge softball player profile. We're joined by another senior, Sydney Wiley. Sydney, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with senior season. It always brings up emotions and all the things you have to deal with, the last of everything, last practices, last game versus this team, all that stuff. What's it been like so far preparing for the senior season and kind of trying to deal with those emotions?
It's been really special, especially being as I've had these coaches since I was really little. And today was actually our first day on our home field, actually on the dirt. And it's just crazy to imagine that it's going to be almost over. But it's just super awesome to be out there with my teammates, even if it is for the last season.
Now, are you letting it sink in that it's your senior season, or do you kind of let that go until the end of the year? Or are you trying to make it feel like just another season?
I mean, it definitely feels a little different. I'm definitely taking more of a leadership role, but I feel like it hasn't fully set in yet. It definitely will closer to senior night in our first scrimmage coming up this week. But I'm really excited looking towards the future, so I'm also still keeping it in the back of my mind.
With only one senior on the team last year, you and your fellow juniors were still asked to be pretty dominant leaders of this team. What's the kind of step up in leadership like this year? Do you think you're an even better leader than you were last year, or do you think it's kind of the same thing that you were building on last year as a junior?
Yeah, definitely a little different than this year because we have a whole group, because we have Lily and Maggie in our infield, me and Megan in the outfield, and now we have Skylar in the mix too, doing both. And it's just really interesting that we can all collaborate. So even though last year there was only one senior, it was still 6 of us and we were still juniors, to where now we're definitely taking a larger role. And me especially, I like to get the underclassmen involved a lot more than I did last year. And it's just super awesome.
What's it like to have so many leaders with you that make you not have to carry the weight of leadership on your shoulders all the time?
Yeah, a lot of times, softball, it's a sport that has a lot of failure that comes with it. And just having that group of senior leaders that and a lot of us have played together since we were in T-ball, it's just super nice to have those other girls who are like my best friends, just to be able to pick me up sometimes when you're the only leader, it feels like if you do bad, you're going to let down the whole team. So just having that close inner circle of leaders is super nice.
How would you describe your leadership responsibilities? Like, what kind of leader do you think you are?
I think that I'm a very uplifting leader. I like to be inspirational, but I know that softball, we're not always going to be perfect, and me especially in the outfield, you can't catch every ball. So I like to specifically pick girls up when they make a mistake, because you can't be perfect 100% of the time. And especially in softball, we have a lot of freshmen coming up, so they might not know all the drills. So just letting them know that minor mistakes are going to happen and it's going to take time to learn.
I've seen you play outfield. We know that you're going to catch a lot more than you don't. Talk about that outfield mentality. Outies save games. I don't want anyone to say anything other than that. So what's it like to kind of be out there and be on patrol, and what kind of mentality do you take into the outfield?
I always strive to be quick, be assertive, and you never know which way the ball is going to go. You got a lot of ground to cover out there, but just always being one step ahead and being ready immediately, and always making sure that you have your eyes on the ball. It takes a lot of communication out there too. It takes a lot of loud energy,
because you're a lot farther away. So just making sure that you can get there as fast as you can and already having in your mind where you have to throw the ball before you even throw it.
You talk about communication. You have your entire outfield back from last year. How much of a relief is that to know that you don't have to work on communication? You know exactly how to communicate with these girls that have been with you for a long time.
Yeah, it's great because these girls, we're all upperclassmen now, so we've been together for a really long time. And like you said, it's a repeat outfield from last year. But not only is it communication that we're used to, it's that we really trust each other and we know each other's capabilities. So I know that if there's a ball that's close to Maddie or close to Megan, I know that they're going to get there and I'm ready to back them up.
I want to talk mine's at the plate as well. You know, you're a great hitter. You hit for average a lot. You're probably going to have one of the better averages on the team if things keep going the way they were last year. What's your mentality at the plate? What are some things that you try to stay locked into?
Yeah, so as a slapper, Coach Joe and Coach Will have always kind of let me go my own way, whether that's hitting a gap shot, hitting a line drive, bunting the ball. So when I almost get into that box, I take a breather and I like to look around the field and notice where the gaps are because ultimately as a slapper, that's where you want to go. You want to hit the gaps. So I work a lot in the off season to make sure that I'm able to hit all those different shots and really getting my mind in the game, not just wanting to hit the ball hard, but making sure that I hit the ball in a good spot that can advance me and my teammates.
I think people outside the sport don't take enough looks at how the art of slapping, right? So I'm sure you've worked on slapping for a long time. Talk about how much you've kind of grown as a slapper and what you love the most about having that role and being able to utilize, like you said, a lot of different things, what the situation might present itself.
Yeah, so I have been a natural lefty my whole life. And even when I was little, I was probably about 10 years old, and my dad took me out into the field next to our yard, and he said, okay, we're going to learn slapping. And I learned everything on YouTube. So I've had that role for a really long time. And just every year, I try to add new shots to my game. And it's just super awesome, especially last year, taking Megan in and teaching her how to slap. Because it's a really mental game. You can't just go up and think, okay, I'm going to make contact. You have to know in advance where you're going to hit it, where you want to hit it, and how. And it takes a lot of thought and a lot of practice. And it's just super awesome that I got to start that early and that I got to transfer it into multiple other players by the end of the season.
Are there any slappers that you watched growing up that you liked, that you got you into it? Or like, who did you watch on YouTube? Who did you learn from? Who were some of the people that, you know, got you into this art?
I honestly couldn't tell you any specific names. I watched a lot of college softball growing up, a lot of Oklahoma, a lot of Northwestern, but no names specifically, and just multiple YouTube sources, just about anything we could find.
There's too many names out there, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is always a great thing. I want to talk about some things off the field a little bit. Practice mentality this preseason. What's it like for you know, you guys to work all these last couple of weeks getting ready for the season, the anticipation you just wanted here. What's the preseason been like for you?
The preseason started really early, all the way back in December. And for the first couple months, it was strength and making sure that we were getting our bodies, specifically our shoulders, ready for the season to prevent any injuries. And now that we're in the gym, it's really just making sure that we can work on our throwing, work on our catching, and get that trust built, get that communication built, especially, and just getting comfortable with each other and having a lot of fun. Because hopefully by the time that we get out there on Thursday for our first scrimmage, a lot of our people are returning, but even still, like, just that practice mentality of the mistakes are going to happen, but just trying to get the consistency both on the physical level and the mental level.
What's your favorite time in practice? What, like, drills? Is it, you know, team scrimmages? What's the favorite part of practice for you? Don't say the end.
I love inter squad scrimmages. We actually had one today, and I'm a big fan of base running. I know a lot of people don't like to go run laps around the field, but I'm a big advocate. I like to get big leads, steal those bases, and have a lot of fun. And of course, outfield drills, because you know me, I love to go catch a fly ball. So any chance I can get out there on that green and just go catch just about anything I can, it's super fun.
Shocker, the slapper likes the base run.
Yeah.
Shocker there. When you think about, you talked about the underclassmen a little bit earlier in this interview and trying to build them up. Who are some girls that you think you've taken under your wing this year, or maybe even last year, that you're really excited to see what they bring to the table this year and in the years to follow after you graduate?
Yeah. This year we added a new slapper, Gianna. Fisher. She's gonna be in our slapping rotation hopefully, and it's just super awesome because she got some work in the winter, and me and Megan have really been taking her in and seeing her get these reps. She had a great hit today at practice, and it was just really impressive to see because I watched it with Megan last year, and just to watch it all over again, specifically with an underclassman, I'm just so excited to see what she does once she becomes an upperclassman.
I also want to talk about, while we're talking about people that you take under your wing, who took you under their wing when you were younger? Who were some people that taught you how to be a good leader when you were growing up, whether it be before you got into high school or when you were an underclassman yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So, back in my freshman year, I started varsity, which I totally did not expect to happen. But I caught with a senior. She was my throwing partner my freshman year, Maddie Gerberry's sister, Megan Gerberry. And she was one of those silent leaders. And I because I feel like I'm definitely an intellectual mentor leader as well. And then Aaliyah Whitaker, too. I really like her because we just had super big hitters and great leaders. And then even Aaliyah last year, she just always wanted to go have fun in practice, and that's just something I look at.
Let's talk about goals after high school. What are some things that are on the horizon for you that you see as things you want to accomplish?
Yeah, so definitely graduation's coming up. We just counted. We have 150 days left of school, which is crazy. I'm still undecided on college. I'm either going to Cincinnati or Ohio State. And I don't plan on playing any sports, but I'm going to go major in architecture. So I'm definitely going to use a lot of the leadership that I learned in softball and a lot of the fun times that I had and translate that into my work life. And it's super exciting to see.
What led you to wanting to go down that major and that career path?
Outside of sports, I'm definitely a artistic person, and I'm a very academically driven kid. So I grew up with a lot of STEM and a lot of drawing, and I've just been really into that kind of stuff. And I don't know, just sounded cool.
What's your favorite form of art? There's a lot of different art out there: painting, charcoal, drawing. What's your favorite kind of art?
I'm actually in drawing right now for the second year in a row, so that's definitely my favorite. I do a lot of like realistic stuff, and occasionally step out of the box. I like to paint too. I grew up painting, so really anything.
Do you have like a favorite piece that you've made in your art career?
I don't. I'm working on one right now. It's a self-portrait. I like it a decent amount. Did one last year too. That was in an art show for Trumbull County. But I mean, I wouldn't say that there's one in particular.
Is there something that like you like drawing more than other? Like some people like to draw people, some people like to draw landscapes. Is there something that you think is like right in your wheelhouse that you like to draw or use as subjects?
I'm really big on like birds. I know it's a little random. I like to draw birds and animals and people. So definitely the more realistic route.
Okay, so we'll go off of that. You like animals. What's your like if you could have anything as a pet, right? It didn't matter about taming it or how wild or feral it might be. What would be the animal of your choice?
Okay, really random. My favorite animal is an otter. Yes. And you can actually have them in Ohio. It's legal. Yes, so I really thought about it. Yeah, I really.
She's done the research, everybody.
I have.
Do you know that you can swim with otters in Florida? There's an otter sanctuary.
They have swim one with near otters. Akron. I actually went.
Well, there you go. You don't even have to go to Florida. I didn't know there was one close. How was that?
It was sweet. It was awesome. They were cool. I've never seen one in real life other than that time. Super cool.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I love it. One of the things I also want to talk about off the field stuff. I know I've seen Mineral Ridge. I've been to your softball games. This team comes to the field jamming. Like you have the boombox going. There's some serious playlists. What's your music of choice? What's your playlist look like?
I mean, I'd say I listen to just about everything. A lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, a lot of pop. I dabble in country music. It's pretty good. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's one thing in particular. I listen to just about everything.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want
Yep.
one song that has to be on that playlist before a
Ooh.
game. One song that you would never let on the playlist. If someone tries to put it on, it's not getting on there.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I grew up having a big crush on Justin Bieber. So
Okay.
anything Justin Bieber, it definitely has to
Is
be
it
on the
Green Light?
playlist.
Okay.
Yep. And then what would I not let on there? I don't like Eminem. I don't.
Okay.
I wouldn't let Eminem on the playlist.
All right. So, do you have a favorite Bieber song, or is it just anything by him at all?
Pretty much anything. Baby's good. Somebody to Love is good.
It's like a little bit old school, right? A
The
little bit
old
old
ones,
school.
yeah, not the new ones.
Right. Okay. Bring back that nostalgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sydney, we're gonna end this player profile the same way we end every single one of them. I want to give you the chance to thank your support system. Shout out the people in your life that have been there for you, that kind of get you along the journey. I want to give you the chance to give out thank yous and shout outs to the people in your life that you think really deserve it.
Yeah. All right. I mean, definitely thank you to my coaches and teammates, especially my coaches being around as long as they have. They got me started from the jump when I was 5 years old, and even my teammates have had a lot of them since I was in elementary school, and they've just been a great support system for me, and I love the sport. And my dad was also a huge motivation for me in the sport. He always got me going. He was my scorekeeper back when I was in rec ball when I was little, and he was just always right next to the dugout and telling me how to improve my game and how to get going. My little sister, she's always out in the outfield cheering for me. Even when I do bad, she's always out there cheering. And my mom too, my grandpa. And then just my close circle, my boyfriend, my friends, my friend group, my family, they just always are looking forward to what I'm going to do next. And they're always supporting me when I do something well and even when I don't succeed.
All right, Sydney, we want to thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck the rest of this season. We'll be out there covering as many of your games as we can, and we look forward to talking again real soon.
All right, thank you.
That was a great interview. There you go. It's a great interview with Sydney Wiley. Every time, I mean, there's almost no bad interviews, which is what amazes me about the kids that we cover on YSN. You go through all of our library of interviews this season, whether it be football, volleyball, basketball, wrestling, cross country, swimming, bowling. There's not really a bad interview in the lot. These kids are really well spoken nowadays, and they know how to talk in front of a camera, which always amazes me.
Well, it's easy when you're talking to people that like aren't suits, right?
Right.
Like we're under no anything do we think that we are anything. We are just a couple of dudes that like sports, and we like to talk to the people that make it possible in these communities. And Sydney Wiley, I mean, when you're talking about her specifically, she sounds like a coach. Man, does she sound like a coach. And then you kind of broke it down there towards the end, which I loved. I loved when she's talking about, yeah, you know what? I like running bases. I like running bases. And you don't get that answer a lot, which helps us because then we could say, why do you like that? Why do you like running the bases? And, you brought it. She's a slap hitter. That's what she does. Like she's not necessarily built for hitting dingers, from that standpoint. She does her role, and she slaps the crap out of the ball and runs the bases very, very effectively.
Yeah, and one of the things that is going to make Middle Ridge so dangerous is they have players like that, but then they do have players that will come up and can hit your dingers over the fence. So when you have a lineup that can kind of do both as a coach on the other side and you're trying to pitch to it, okay, well, if we walk this girl, if she gets on, we have someone that can hit a home run right behind her. It's very hard to navigate a lineup that can do both. Sometimes you hit a lineup that can only have the speedsters, and sometimes you hit a lineup that's really power heavy. You kind of pitch to those kind of lineups easier, but when you have a lineup that can do both at a high level, that's when it gets tricky as a coach.
And then you have, what's your favorite, what's the song that you'd have on? And she goes, anything Justin Bieber. And immediately, if you would have caught me backstage, you would have seen, baby, baby,
Baby,
baby,
oh.
oh, baby, baby,
And she did say old school Bieber, so that one would have fit.
Then she says she doesn't
Some
want
sh-
anything to do with Mom's spaghetti.
Some shade on Slim Shady, you know?
No spaghetti from
No
Mom.
spaghetti.
No. Arms weak. Nope. She doesn't want that. Keep that out. That was down. I mean, listen, respect. But I can't have a playlist to get me that gets me pumped up without Mom's spaghetti.
If you
It's not
had
going to happen.
one shot,
One moment.
one moment,
Would you capture it or just
That-
let it slip?
that intro to that song might be one of the best hip hop intros of all time.
See,
Bum 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 bum. When the beats, it
well, I
slowly
mean,
gets
yeah.
you, and he
Slim
and then
Sh-
it just,
Come on.
boom, the
Evan.
beat drops on. Snap back to reality. Oh, the
Oop,
goes
there goes
gravity.
gravity. Oh, there comes
You know.
copyright infringement. I mean, if they mix us up with Eminem,
There's a problem.
oh boy, we got some Beethovens out there, some real deafers. Beethoven was deaf, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was deaf.
Okay. Hey, I got that joke right. That's one for me. Chalk it up. But in all seriousness, like that's a tough question. Nobody ever sees it coming. But I did get a question out of that I cannot wait to unleash on Frederick Merrill Moots.
Oh man, I can't. Now I'm excited because I don't know what's coming either.
No, we know he's not watching. I'm gonna ask him what his spirit animal is.
Ooh.
Frederick, what's your spirit animal? Like wild. What do you think he's gonna say?
What? I don't know, man. I know he's a Broncos fan,
I'm gonna say
So,
he.
but he's not a Bronco. He's not a
He
Bronco.
strikes me as a mongoose guy. Moots the mongoose is loose again. Come on, Merrill.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying. I can see it happening. I can see Fred Moots is a mongoose. In the most Pittsburgh accent you can get. Come on, Merrill. Come on. Let's go, mongoose. You're gonna go with a Bronco?
No, I don't think he'd say a Bronco. I know he's a Broncos fan, but he's definitely not a racehorse. So
He strikes me as a stallion.
stallion.
Fred Moots, the Italian stallion.
You
What's
know,
your
I'm-
spirit animal, Ant?
My spirit animal. You know what? I'm more of a reptilian kind of guy. Crocodile. You know, I like the snakes and the lizards. Komodo
Gross.
dragon.
You have a snake?
I do not. My mom that refuses to let me have a snake. So
That's a great look for your mom. That's a
doesn't
great look.
doesn't want a python in the pipes of the toilet coming up on you when you sit down.
Oh,
We've heard the
my
horror
God.
stories in Florida. You've seen that? Like there, every year there's at least one news article from Florida that someone finds a python or some kind of snake crawl out of their toilet. So
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. I like watching the this is complete sidebar here. I like watching the guy that clips the snake on, like they're out golfing, they'll clip the fake snake onto the belt.
Oh
Be
yeah,
like, there's a snake, and the one guy just takes off running like into the into the golf cart. Like he's so afraid.
No.
'Cause
Wait, no.
he whacks it once, and like dead
a
on,
stroke.
and it
That's
doesn't
a
do
stroke.
anything.
That counts.
He goes, nope. It just takes off. No, I couldn't do snake. My cousin has a reptile. I want to say it's an iguana.
Ooh, yeah.
Gecko. It's a gecko. I think.
Geckos are the smaller ones. So iguanas
they're-
are like
yeah.
big lizards that are like this
It's a
big.
gecko. No, I can't.
Okay.
Either one of them. Like I'm drop kicking out the door.
Snakes are the
I-
devil. It's in the Bible.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, Adam and Eve, Satan comes to them as a serpent.
Well, you know what did it for me was Jungle Book with that stupid snake
Oh, yes.
with it has the eyes and it's like,
Destiny.
yeah, screw that, dude.
It's a good song,
I'm
though.
out. I'm out. No, it's that's terrifying. If you're like 4 years old watching the Jungle Book,
It's a good
and you see
song.
that, it's terrifying. Terrifying.
Uh,
I've never bounced back from that. Never.
See, I would be more terrified of the orangutan in that movie because he's
King
a
Louie?
big, yeah, he's a big dude. Snake, I feel like you might be able to just run away from or shoo away, but
All
you're
right,
not running
so-
away from you.
Here's a question we can ask Moots again. We're just going to play off a bunch of questions on Moots that have nothing to do with softball. If you had the chance and you had to fight one of them,
Uh-huh.
alligator, crocodile, same thing. All right, don't get technical with me in the comments either. Alligator, crocodile,
Mhm.
tiger,
Mhm.
shark,
Mhm.
gorilla.
Oh.
Which one would you fight? You didn't have to win. You just had to survive.
Well, isn't surviving winning?
In some minds,
But do you mean like I can just get away if I want to, or I have to fight it?
you got to fight it.
Gotta fight it. Can't just run away from it. Because if I could just get away, I think a crocodile would be the easiest to get away from because they're one of the burst animals. They'll have one big burst at you, but they're not going to chase you. They want to kind of stay in their own little
What if they're hungry?
area. So, man, gorilla, shark. If Jaws is correct, you hit a shark on the nose, it'll go away from you. I don't know how much I trust Jaws. Steven Spielberg. I don't think he lied to me, but I don't know. Or what were the other ones? Gorilla, shark, tiger?
Tiger.
No, not touching a tiger. No.
Tiger or lion. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
same.
I'm not touching one of those big cats. They go for the throat, and you're done pretty quick. I don't know. I'd still go probably for the alligator or the crocodile.
But once they get you, they roll you. You're
I
done.
feel like if you're submissive with them and you wrap your hands around their snout a little bit, they're not going to be as fast as a shark in water. They're still fast, but they're not going to be like,
What about a bear? Let's throw a
bullet
bear in
fast.
the equation.
Bear run downhill and they'll fall and you can beat them up. Especially if it's a black bear. Now, if it's a grizzly bear, you're screwed. Black bear, they're kind of the sissies of the wild.
What is
Grizzly
it?
bear, you're in trouble.
Isn't it like black bear fight back, brown
Yeah,
bear
brown
lay
bear-
down,
Like get the hell out of there.
brown brown. I don't
No,
think
actually-
that rhymes. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, get the hell out of the town. But there we go.
I was on the Today Show a couple 2015. I got on the Kelly and Huda show, one of the trivia shows, where Kelly, not Kelly. What was her name? I don't know. Before it was the Bush lady, the one that was before. I think it was Kelly. Anyway, the trivia question they were asking was, how do you get away from a bear? And the answer is get big. Act big. I won $100 gift card on the Today Show by answering that question correctly.
You were on TV, national
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah,
Do we have any evidence of this?
it's so old it's not on the Today Show website anymore, and I wish I would have recorded it on the DVR. So, if there is evidence out there somewhere, I haven't found it. I used to have it saved on the phone, but now when you click on the website, it's like this website does not exist anymore, or this video does not exist.
Do you have the
anymore.
date from it?
No, I know it was in the August of I can get the year. We went to me and my dad went to New York, so we got on the Today Show.
We're gonna look
We
it up.
watched the main show with Lauer and Al Roker and all those guys. So we were in the crowd for that. But then on Wednesdays after they do a taping of the third hour of today.
Were you talking about Kathy Lee Gifford?
Kathy Lee, that's it.
Okay.
So I was on with her. She had a roommate that was from Youngstown. So when I said I'm from Youngstown, she goes, "Oh, my roommate was from
They're
Youngstown."
always like that. Everybody knows somebody from Youngstown.
I know.
Speaking of
Notre Dame.
people we know from Youngstown, Anthony, would you like to intro your next interview that you did with the head coaches?
Yeah,
of
we'll move
Middle
on.
Ridge?
We'll move on to the co-head coaches of Middle Ridge, Joe Marilillo and Will Sandy, both great guys, and their energy for this program is top notch. And like we said, they kind of split the responsibilities of being a head coach, and they kind of work together really, really well. And we joke in this interview, they're kind of the work spouses to each other, because as soon as they get out of practice, they're calling each other, and their wives give them a hard time about how much they're always, trying to converse with each other about softball. And I did ask the question, which one's the work wife, which one's the work husband? So we'll have to see which one wears the pants in that relationship,
Oh, well, I don't think you got to worry about Bears or Tigers or anything. You're going to have to be worried about Ram coaches, buddy.
So it's a really fun interview. These guys are fun to talk to, and I think everyone out there is going to enjoy it quite a bit. Anthony Hartwig here with a Mineral Ridge Softball Coaches Corner season preview. We're joined by the co-head coaches, the Ralph and Karen Weekleys of high school softball here in the area, Will Sandy and Joe Marilillo. Guys, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about this season.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So we're gonna break this into an interview where we'll ask each of you individual questions. But first, I want to start with just kind of a recap of last year. We'll start with Coach Sandy, and he can field this one. When you think about last year, the things that were learned from last year, I know you're returning a lot of your same players. What lessons do you think you want to learn and take away from last year's season where you guys made it to the district championship round?
Last year, 14-9 season. We improved from 2023, which, that was our big goal, was to take things one step further, like we've been preaching to the girls all off season. We were able to do that last year, and we've talked about limiting our errors. We cut them almost in half from 23 to 24. We'd like to cut them in half again. If we could do that, we'll have a good chance for success. Our pitching is not, going to blow you away. So we're going to have to make plays. And if we make plays, we like our chances.
And then Coach Marilillo, when you think about the next steps, this year, the goals this year coming back from last year, like I said, you have almost the same roster back. What are some of the goals and some of the things that you want to do to make sure you reach those goals this year?
Oh, we always tell the girls one step forward, take the next step. Obviously we want a league championship put on that wall. We want that district championship as well. We're going to be fighting. I think the girls are really hungry for it. They got a little taste of it last year. Again, fought a good Matthews team in the district finals and came up short. So I think now this year we adjust to that. We adjust to the whole district change, and we, go out and do what we do best, and that's play softball.
All right, Coach Sandy, you get the hard part because we have to ask you to break down the roster and talk to us about these players, which means top of your head, you have to get us all the names. But let's have the meet the team segment. The players that will be making a big impact this game, this season, and maybe some of the new faces too. I know you guys have a pretty good freshman class as well.
Yeah, we sure do. Right off the top of my head, instantly you go right to the four seniors: Lily Marilillo, Sydney Wiley. Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot. Megan Haney and Maggie Collins, our four seniors. We added a fifth senior this year, Skylar Leach. She is new to the game, but numbers wise, we were kind of on the edge of having a full JV roster. She came in and she's done a great job. But man, the leadership of those seniors that we've had now for this is our third year with them. It's been awesome, and it's what we expected, and it's kind of what we've been working for the last few years. And then of course you go to the juniors. Just amazing to get Kelsey Dye back healthy this year. Maddie Gerberry. I'm definitely going to remember Maddie because I forgot her in another one. But no, Maddie is the hardest worker that we have on the team. Off-season wise, she's at everything. And then, who am I forgetting now? And now, geez, oh man. And now Lainey Wrigley over at the hot corner. She will hopefully be able to take care of third base for us like she did last year. It was a position change for her from 2 years ago, and she did a remarkable job. Won one of our Gold Glove awards that we gave out at the end of the year. So, and then, we've got some sophomores that have helped us. Sullivan Sandy, Savannah Turek's going to, shoulder a little bit more of the load pitching. And then, with our freshmen coming in, we have 6 of them coming in, and, we expect big things. There's some travel girls in there. Courtney Kaminsky, she's been a travel girl that's played for quite some time. Randy Blacon has played a little bit of travel. Lydia Cottrell and Olivia Barker. don't want to leave anybody out, but
Alyssa
Alyssa Wylonen as well, one of the freshmen. She's a pitcher, and she's going to be a name to to look out for in the next few years. So.
And then I'll have Coach Marilillo elaborate on some of them, because there are some players that I think just need singled out a little bit and talked about what they're going to bring to the team. And first, I want to talk about the senior, right? Obviously, the last name pretty familiar with you, and Lily Marilillo, and coming back into the circle, can also play a lockdown shortstop when she's not in the circle. Talk about what you expect from her senior year, her last go around, trying to have that last ride inside the circle.
Oh, you're going to get me already with this one, man.
Here come the tears.
Yeah. No, listen, Lily, what she means to this program and what she's done over the last, coming on 4 years now. She's worked very hard. She leads this team not only on the field but off. She's even in basketball, she was at the weightlifting stuff, and even if it wasn't just a lift, she was in there just encouraging girls, helping them, doing all that. On the field, she's like you said, she's a presence, man, and she's a very tough competitor. She takes things very hard, and she just wants to win, and she wants her team to do good. Not just individually, but she wants the whole team to succeed and, reach our goals. So, playing with her, coaching her has been such an honor, and I couldn't be more proud.
I want to bring up Kelsey Dye as well, because last year you guys had to spend the season without her, and Aaliyah Wall stepped up marvelously as a senior and really bared the brunt of that catching responsibility. But now you have someone who's a natural-born catcher back there that can lead your infield and lead the pitching staff. What's that mean to this team to have her back full health on the field as a catcher?
Oh, it's huge, man. I mean, it was a big blow to us last year. Luckily, we had a senior that, put the team over herself and came in and did a wonderful job. But like you said, Aaliyah was out of position a little bit last year. And Kelsey, man, if you could draw up a catcher, ask AI to draw you up the perfect catcher, she's about what would come out. You know what I mean? She's loud. She's like a presence. She's a leader, and you need that from your backstop. And, we couldn't be happier to have her back.
And then the last thing I want to talk about the roster is just the pitching situation. We talked about Lily, and then you have Savannah also. Is the plan going in to be 50-50? Do you see one that might get a little bit more than the other? Or do you think, like last year, it's going to be a solid 1-2 punch, rely on both of them, and just deal with matchups? And which one do you think matches up with the other team the best?
Honestly, it's going to be matchup based, I believe. We are going to look at Sav to take that circle a lot more this season. I know she's been working hard. Again, another hard worker we have. I mean, we got a team full of them. She comes in, same kind of presence as Lily, man, wants to win, wants her team to succeed. I have all the faith in the world in her when she's in there and to take control of the game. The other thing is, too, we also want to trickle in Alyssa Wylonen a little bit, man. Again, freshman coming in, got to get her some looks. Future's bright for that one. So, our pitching is much better than it has been since we started, at least depth-wise. So, coming in and having that kind of, pitching dugout, being able to go to anybody, it's a big deal for us.
Well, for Middle Ridge fans, all you have to do is say the name Wylonen, and they get it. Get it.
We love you, Maddie.
They get it. Shout out to Maddie out there who held it down for 4 years for that program. Coaches, then we want to go out into the schedule. We'll let Coach Sandy talk about the schedule too, test his memory on the teams that you've kind of put together. I know the out-of-conference schedule is packed up, but let's start with the conference first, the MVAC Scarlet tier. You guys probably come in with really high expectations, but it's always a competitive conference. Talk about some of the challenges that you see in the MVAC and what you're looking forward to in the conference season.
Man, it's a dogfight. The MVAC is a dogfight. I mean, it's tough to not give McDonald their due, man. I think it's been 6 years in a row that they've won the MVAC. But you have a Jackson Milton team that's hungry, and they added Katie Byers. And then, not to forget about the Lowvilles and the Camels and Waterloo and Springfield is going to be improved. And he brings in there too. You've got a tough game every single night. And, we're going to get them back to back, which makes things interesting. I mean, it's not like baseball, but you still get, you get the different pitchers possibly. And or the same one if you can't handle them. So I mean, the MVAC is going to be nasty, and we're right off the rip. We got McDonald real early, so we're going to kind of see where we stand. I think right that first week.
Conference is one goal. The other goal, of course, is a deep postseason run. You have a non-conference schedule to help you get ready for that postseason run. Coach Marilillo, we're going to turn to you. Talk about the non-conference schedule and some of the teams that you're excited to test yourselves against when you go out of the MVAC.
Well, like Coach Will said, we start right off the bat. We start with LeBray. We wanted to beef up that schedule a little bit. We wanted to test our girls in the non-conference game because I said it before, iron sharpens iron. We played LeBray and then Salem on that same week. Then we got Boardman and Pie Valley. We definitely beefed up that schedule just to make us better. That was our whole idea with it. So we want to face good pitchers, we want to face good hitters and good fielders. We know all those teams can bring that. So that's where we stand with that one.
So when you make a tough schedule, you always have to toe the line of staying confident and also getting prepared and getting high quality teams. As coaches, how are you going to try to kind of toe that line, keep the kids confident if maybe the results don't go your way, but at the same time make them realize like these games matter. This game, even if we do lose this game, it's something that's going to make us better for the tournament.
We are, our first goal, if, we make a list of goals, our first goal is we want to win the conference. I mean, that's what we want. We want to hang a number up on our board in our gym. And, that's what we preached. And they need to understand that, you're going to see dominant pitching from a Pie Valley and a Boardman and a LeBray. And that's only going to help us in those conference games. So, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a fine line to walk. But I feel like if and when we can get one of those games, that's just going to push us to the next level that we want to be at. You can't go into a postseason, having played a bunch of cupcakes and winning games 20-0. That's really not going to help anything. We've told the girls, man, we want to be in those 5-4 games. We want to be in those 3-2 games. And shoot, even like last year, when we had United, we beat them 3-2 on our turf and then went up there and lost 15-14. I mean, 2 wildly different games, 2 one-run games. But I feel like that prepared us for the district run that we had.
If I could piggyback off that, we're not looking for wins, loss in that column, in the non-conference column. We're looking for, how we play. So that's our main focus in those games. So and we try to, tell the girls that and just focus on that.
Now, last year we weren't able to get you guys for one of these long form interviews, which was, it was sad, but we get you this year. So we got to hear kind of how this co-coaching came about and how you guys made the decision to become co-coaches instead of, one being the head coach, one being the assistant. What kind of drove the idea of like, let's just share the brunt and share the credit and probably share the blame when things don't go right?
Honestly, both of us kind of went into it the same. We obviously are big competitors. We're hard-headed sometimes, but we all want the same goal. Both of us want the same goal for these girls, this program, this school. I mean, we love it. And, we didn't know how it was going to be when we, went into this first. We had no idea. And to be honest with you, just kind of rolled with it and went along. And as it turns out, I mean, it's probably the best decision we've made. We share the workload on a lot of stuff. He's, handles a lot of things that I don't, and I handle stuff that he doesn't. So, it meshes very, very well. We get along great. I mean, our wives make fun of us all the time. I mean, the moment I walk in from practice, he's calling me or I'm calling him. And, Lisa's constantly, Holly's constantly like, hey, why don't you sit down and have some dinner first and then call your boyfriend or whatever back. So,
and the big thing is just you just got to keep in mind that, I'm the third base coach and he's the first base coach, and that's just the way it goes. So. Yeah.
Well, the big question is which one's the work wife and which one's the work husband, because who wears the pants in the proverbial coach's relationship?
Just remember, I'm bigger than him. So,
coaches, the last question I'm going to ask for you guys before I let you obviously talk about the other people that help out with this program. We see shirts in Mineral Ridge with Mineral Riz on the front. I want you guys to describe Mineral Riz in the best way you know how. What makes this team have that charisma, have that swagger?
Well, you know what? 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, the program was not where it needed to be, and where, anybody in the community wanted it to be. And, we like to think that we brought it back a little bit, and, with the help of the tremendous athletes that we have. And this started a long time ago, in the youth program. As you know, every good program has to have a good youth program, and that's what we have. But as far as the Mineral Riz goes, we haven't really bought into it. The girls don't really buy into it too much. They think we're kind of weird, but we're going to roll with it, and we're going to go with it, and we're going to be confident, and we're going to be we're going to be exciting.
Some people take it as cocky, but honestly, it's more for fun for the girls, man. We want to give them something memorable. We want to do the fun stuff for them. It has nothing to do with us ever. I want them to enjoy this time in their life because it's so important, and to look back and go, man, that was fun.
There's something intimidating about walking up to the field with a boombox, bumping out jams,
The belt
getting ready.
over one shoulder.
Yeah.
We better see that again this year, guys. We would not let this go without you guys talking about other people that contribute to this program that wouldn't be what it is without. So I want you to shout out some other people, staff members, and people in the community that help you guys out, that really make this Mineral Ridge program go.
So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Jay Collins, we brought him on as a volunteer coach. He doesn't get paid. He ran through all the stuff that you're supposed to as a coach. He helps us out every single day. I've coached Jay with this group of seniors since T-ball. And to be honest with you, I moved on to this next level, without him, and he was so supportive of it. And, I couldn't thank him enough.
Yeah, we can't do what we do without Jay.
No.
And we also brought on a JV coach this year, Hannah Baird. She's a Ridge alumni, and she's been amazing working with the girls, and then just the support of the the Board of Education, and Damon Dohar's been amazing. He has we have this beautiful facility, which I think is the top in the area.
Randy Cameron, with our schedule. I mean, he took the helm of the AD this year on short notice and came in and really helped us out, and does a lot for us, even though it's a hectic job. He does a great job. And obviously the field crew and everybody.
And then the biggest thing, honestly, too, is just the parents that we have, are the parents of the girls have been awesome. Fundraising wise, they do anything we ask. They're amazing, getting the girls to and from practice. It's been a total team effort, and I'm so happy to be a part of it with Coach Joe, and it's been awesome.
Even just the little things that, we reach out today. We had 2 YSU college girls, players come talk to the girls, they sat with the whole practice, and, they helped us out, gave us pointers, like I said, we're doing this stuff for the girls, and the parents are on board for it, and everybody is so supportive. So we appreciate everything.
All right, guys, we want to appreciate you guys for the time giving us a preview of this season. Want to wish you the best of luck this year. YSN will be out there as much as humanly possible to cover you guys, and we can't wait to see you out there. And we know the weather is looking like it should be playing right now.
Yes,
so
we're ready.
All right, guys, thanks for the time. Good luck again this season.
Thank you, Anthony.
Buddy, Mineral Riz, I love it.
Mineral Riz, the charisma and the swagger that team has. Last year I got to go to a couple of their games, and they come up to the field with the jams going. Like, you can hear them coming. You'll never sneak up on someone.
Baby,
Yes.
If I hear that coming, I'm leaving. I'm out.
This would be a bad day.
It's a bad day to be a Bieber. But dude, Mineral Riz, that's electric.
Yep.
That is awesome. That fire burns, dude. That is, and they have the charisma out there. I've said it a million times. They've got the right people in place out of Mineral Ridge, because they're a community here. And I'm not taking anything away. And if Mineral Ridge, if you don't like this, I apologize, but this is an outsider's perspective. you just don't care what anybody else thinks about you. And I love it. I'm here for it. All that smoke, all that. And Coach Marilillo said it, like, we're not doing it to take away from anybody else. We're doing it to give to our girls. And they might not be bought in necessarily to the Mineral Riz. I am. And
They
I
will
know we're going to be rolling that one. That's, I mean, the RWO. We've heard that one for, I mean, talking to Coach Hake about the RWO return, the Ridge World Order, the Ram World Order.
Yep.
Like, there's just and I love, and guess what? They're backing it up too. This isn't just we're going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. And I like it a lot. And you could tell that the girls, you know, when you interviewed Lily and Sydney, they're focused, they're streamlined toward what they want to accomplish, what they want their legacy to be. And they're not necessarily big talkers, at least in their interviews, from the standpoint of, we're not going to talk about ourselves. We're going to talk about our teammates, which I love.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
phenomenal. But there's somebody on that team. There's somebody on that team that we're going to find that is a big talker, and will represent. And I thought it was a little crazy when you explained it to me, but the co-coaching thing, it works for them.
It works.
It works for them because guess what? Good cop, bad cop,
Right.
all the time. I mean, this might be the new way to coach because there's an ability, you know, there's an accountability system built in naturally. Although, I can see if you're not on the same page with the other guy or other person, it could be a bit challenging. But these guys, you know, kudos to them for taking, first off, time out to talk to us. Secondly, for what they're doing for their community, because, I mean, you said it. They're splitting what is probably a paycheck that is way too low for the amount of time that they're putting in, and they want to accomplish something, and they're not doing it for their legacy. They're doing it for, you know, the legacy of their daughters. So, hey, we appreciate you so much out there, not just in Mineral Ridge, but everywhere, but certainly in Mineral Riz.
And you'll like this too. They also have the Middle Ridge Champion belt that they bring to the games too. So they have the whole, you know, WWE Championship belt with the Ram on it, and that goes everywhere they go.
I like that a lot. I mean, you know, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I love it. Watched it last night. My daughter, 3 years old, cheering for Cody Rhodes. She can say a lot of things in her life. There's not a whole lot of things that I'm going to be more proud of than her screaming for Cody Rhodes at 3 years old. Like, that is exciting. Hey, Ridge, appreciate you stepping up.
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate it. That was awesome. I counted as 4 interviews, 3 interviews really, but 4 interviews because you're interviewing 2 people during one. And you know, they got better. Listen, we're nobodies. They got better things to do than sit there and talk to us. But, man, I'll tell you what, thank you for taking the time out and shining a light on your program and giving us a little bit of intel so we can share it with the world. And naturally, this is what we do. And Ridge was the first one up, right? That was our first spring sports interview.
Yeah,
Published?
absolutely. Published. Yep.
Well
First out of the gates. And they did that after practice, so they delayed dinner a little bit for us, which is always the biggest compliment you can give. If you delay dinner for us, then we cannot be more than grateful.
Your interview, I'm going to guess, it was the coaches first.
Yep.
I'm going to guess it was it Lily first? Was it Lily second?
Yep, you nailed it.
And Sydney third.
Coaches, Lily, Sydney.
Yeah, so that was my guess. Because you alluded to it, I think in the Lily interview that they went first, and there weren't. Was there really tears?
I don't know if there were tears. He did start to get a little bit emotional though. You might be able, like I said in Lily's interview, you might be able to zoom in and find one in there. You know, maybe a little bit.
I was looking real hard, and I'm like, I can't see tears. Anthony promised tears. I didn't see him, but
some video investigative journalism there.
Hey, journalism. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We are just a few minutes away from Frederick Merrill Moots here on the program. DJ Yoakley, Anthony Hartwig. And while we have a chance, let's thank our sponsors. First, our friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet. What do you say about those fellas and ladies over there?
Well, I'll tell you what, Greenwood Chevrolet, they go the extra mile for you. You know, we try to follow their lead on this show every day by going the extra mile for the communities that are under the YSN umbrella. But we get the inspiration from Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They do great work, whether you are in the need of a new or used vehicle or you're in the need of service. If you have a car that needs served, Greenwood Chevrolet has an excellent service department that'll take care of you as well. So make sure to head on down there to Greenwood Chevrolet and see what it means to really go the extra mile.
Serve it up. And also, if you're in the I guess market for a new or used car, or you need yours serviced with a smile, with a smile, and I'm talking like I got text message updates yesterday. You need to check out our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Okay, that's where the Toyota Tundra comes from that you see on the roads on 224. Today, you're going to see it over in Columbiana at Riser. Got a big meeting at 3 o'clock. For that, you can catch us there. Dude, I'll tell you what, they hooked us up, and I'm loving driving this Toyota Tundra. Cannot wait to sign up for another one here in the coming year. And Tino and the great crew over there, Jim Wilson, who the finance guy, man, he made sure that it is a beautiful thing that I'm not grieving every month, making sure that I get that bill in the mail for what my truck costs. No. They take care of you at Toyota of Warren. So make sure you get over there. Tell them YSN sent you. Give Tino a daggone high five. Whack up top, because that's how you're going to be feeling after you leave that place. And get a pop, get a soda, get a coffee, because it's all there in their awesome little I mean, I want to say it's like a restaurant, but man, like you could pretty much get whatever you want. You basically call in room service if you wanted to. And hey, I also heard a little story. Somebody called in Uber Eats to Toyota Warren. They had a little pizza dropped off. They can go get beverages right behind them.
Well, I'm going to be here for a while. Might as well.
I'm going to be here for a minute.
Might as well order a pizza.
I was there for about 45 minutes. I got my tires rotated and I got my oil changed. I was in and out of there, back on the road. Their whole idea is, hey, we want to see you, right? But we want to get you out of here too, because we know you got things to do, but we want to make sure you get there safe from A to B. So buy a Toyota from Toyota Warren today. Ladies and gentlemen, well, he was in here. He's still hanging out. Oh, great. Come on, Merrill. I saw him flash in. While we wait for Frederick Merrill Moots to wrestle with technology. Okay, let's give him a second. Give him a second to calm down and then get this intro for him as well. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we stretched our program long enough to the 1:40 mark. He actually arrived early, which we're grateful for. One of the most electric coaches in the entire YSN universe. One of the guys who is always around, no matter where you are. In Boardman, he's always supporting his girls, his troops. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you a man whose favorite animal and spirit animal just so happens to be the mongoose, the head coach of the Boardman Lady Spartan softball teams. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Merrill Moots.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good introduction there.
All right, so inquiring minds want to know, what is your actual middle name, Frederick?
It's actually Anthony.
That's a stupid name. I went with Merrill. I shot in the dark. I just figured
Merrill sounds better. I like Merrill.
Frederick, is it Frederick or is this Fred?
It's actually Frederick.
Frederick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna go with Merrill from now on. I think.
All right. I'm good with that. I'm down with that. Merrill's
Fred,
good.
are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
We miss
Real
you.
good.
We love you. We appreciate you. It's your time of year. It's your time to shine. Let's just overarching. What do the girls look like this year?
By the way, I love you guys too, so you know that. But right now, I mean, it's nice to get out here with obviously the good weather here. So get on the dirt here. But we had our first scrimmage last weekend, and I was real happy with the overall performance of them. It's early, obviously, but we stay healthy and we do the little things. This is a veteran group. It's a group that's been together now. Some of them as going to be 4-year letter winners. We stay healthy. I think we can make a long run at this thing for sure.
Coach, your program is in a very unique part right now where you lost a big senior group last year, but you still have a ton of girls that are coming back from getting quality time on the field. What's it like to see leadership from the girls that are returning this year with such a big senior class exiting from a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, we did. We lost a big class. We lost some, obviously some key players in that class. But, we got 5 seniors returning this year, and all 5 of them are big leaders on and actually off the field. So the experience, it's abundant with, like I said, some of them have been playing now, will be 4-year letter winners. So, losing a big class, it hurts, but when you're returning the majority of your starting 9 from the year prior, it's something to be excited about for sure.
When you're looking at that excitement of this season, what things are you looking? Obviously, you know your program and these young ladies very well. What's the calling card in 2025? What are you going to hang your hat on?
Well, I mean, I think it's maybe cliche to say it, but obviously your pitching and your defense, and as a coach, I just preach this big emphasis on it always. Every practice, every game. To me, what's most important is to play clean, especially when your pitcher's out there doing their thing and rolling your ground balls, getting you the outs that you want. And if we're struggling defensively, it's just a domino effect. So we definitely are going to hang our hat on pitching. We have some great pitchers on staff. Us is the most depth I've ever had as a coach. And again, a lot of experience, a lot of varsity experience. Pitching, obviously, in defense. And, I think we're going to surprise some people with the sticks this year a little bit. We've got some girls that have all winter been really working hard. We had a very successful winter indoors. Some girls are really swinging the sticks really good all winter, have worked extensively in the off season. And, obviously that's what you have to do. If you want to build a winner, you have to do that. So, we put so much emphasis on the off season, getting better, and I tell them 1% better a day. That's really what we need to strive for each and every day. And obviously take care of, control the controllables.
Coach, I want to talk about those pitchers that you have, because last year you were such a hard team to prepare for because you didn't, you could throw a lot of arms at a different team. It didn't matter, maybe who was hot that day, what the matchup was like. There wasn't one pitcher that someone could really prepare for and say, we're probably going to see this girl in the circle. What's it like this year? What are the pitchers gonna bring to the table, and what are kind of the game plan of how you're gonna kind of dice up the innings and the workload for the pitchers that you do have?
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 really good. Well, I mean, I actually have 5 pitchers, but we have 3 on the varsity that are really good. They're all unique in their certain ways. They all bring a little bit of something different to the table. I feel comfortable putting any one of the 3 in the circle. Last week, and we split the first game. We played an unbelievable Matthews team, a team that some people will have pegged to win the state title. And both Gabby and Tori split that game, and were just unreal. And then we went over and played Hubbard, and I, again, like I said, of the 3, I put Addie Kowalczyk out there, who's a junior, who is probably one of the hardest working kids I've ever coached. She has just progressively got better and better every year in the circle. She's an amazing teammate. She's a great kid, and she pitched very well as well. So obviously, like I said, I feel comfortable with any one of the 3 girls that I put out there. And as far as innings, it's a feel thing. It's a matchup type thing. How I may feel, going into the game, how they warm up. I'm not one to just ultimately peg a starter for a certain game. We go there, we warm up, we see what's working, what's not, how they feel. And then, I'll make my determination that way.
All right. So you talked about motivation. You talked about the upperclassmen. The underclassmen, obviously very, very sound fundamentally. We've seen them grow up right before our very eyes here on YSN. either in the high school realm or in the on the fields of BCB, right? So I guess my question is, you don't have to look very far for motivation. You've got teams in your conference that have won state championships in the last 2 years, respectively. How do you get your team to kind of look at that and say, this can be us too?
Right. I mean, that's the battle, and I think in years past, we felt sometimes that the cards were stacked against us. Obviously, when you have the likes of Sydney Watts and Milena Toth in your own division, in your own conference, and they lead their respective teams to a state title, sometimes it feels like it's inevitable. But obviously, those girls aren't. You just don't replace them. Obviously, they're on to bigger and better things right now in college, doing their things now, and But I feel with what we bring back in the circle, and what we can put out there as a team, we're right there. We're right there with them, I feel like this conference now. It's a conference that it's still wide open. I mean, it's a type. It's just because they're gone doesn't mean that either one of those teams are any less better than they are. So we're confident that we can make a run at this thing as well.
Yeah, and then you talked about the conference, but I know also because the conference is smaller, you have a lot of chances to go outside of the AAC and really test yourselves and get yourself ready for postseason. Who are some teams that pop up out of conference that you're really excited to challenge yourselves with?
Well, I mean, as we all know, year in and year out, we don't shy away from scheduling up. That's what we've always done, and it's what we continue to do. And we open up in a three-way. We have Lakeview. I know Lakeview's technically a smaller school, but they're a really, really electric team. And Willoughby South, another really, really solid team, a team I've played in the past and have had some success in the last couple of years. And then we play Hoover on Monday. Go right up to Canton Hoover, and out of the fire out of the fry pan into the fire. And then we play Champion and Whitmer in a three-way. Obviously, we know Champion, how good they are, and Toledo Whitmer has been a story program as well. We play Akron Hobart again this year. And ironically, I just got my schedule for the Prebus, which if some people that might not be familiar with the Prebus, it's up in North Ridgeville. It's a 2-day event. A lot of premier teams go up there and play. And we got our schedule, and we play 3 unbelievable teams. We open with Lancaster, who may be the favorite in Division I to win the state title. Their pitcher, Ashley Mowry, I believe her name is, going to LSU. We play Amherst Steel on Saturday, who we know took Fitch obviously the extra innings last year in a 2-1 game, and then Holland Springfield, who we played down in Florida last year, and didn't fare so well. They had 4 Division I recruits on that team, so 3 unbelievably tough games, but we'll be ready, and that's what we want to do. We want to be prepared. Wins and losses and all that stuff, I didn't get into it for that. It's to be tough, and in the tough times, and when you play teams like this, and if you're able to hang with teams like this during the regular season, you feel much better when you get into the district tournament that, hey, we can do this thing. I mean, if I lose to Canton Hoover 10-0, I know I'm 10 runs behind Canton Hoover when I go to have to play them. Now, obviously, this year we don't have to play the likes of Canton Hoover being in D3, but D3 is still going to be a grind, it's tough. I mean, as I'm sure you've seen the teams that are there as well. It arguably could be just as tough, if not the toughest division still out there. So, we take pride in scheduling up, and if I didn't think we could actually compete with these teams, or we didn't have the team to do it, I probably wouldn't do it.
We've seen you on the basketball court as of late as an official, and we've talked the last couple of days about how condensed the spring season has become. How much of it is frustrating to you from a standpoint of, okay, you've got to fit this many games into this window, and you've got to keep your team healthy, motivated, and excited, because I think Ann said May 11th or something like that, the drawing is, the right. Tourney pool. So how do you kind of keep yourself on that even keel line the entire way for the next 2 months and keep people locked in?
Yeah, I mean that's just it. You know, you got to get a little bit creative in that aspect. I mean, these girls have been going. They're just fine tuning stuff now. They've been going all winter. You know, we obviously had a couple of girls and play basketball, a few girls, but even some of them girls had been going. Still. So, that's you can go and not play a game in a week and then play 5 in 1 week. So, it's tough to manage that, but you have to find creative ways to do it. And like you said, I mean, it's kind of condensed. Obviously, if weather looks like this on the weekly, we would be obviously in favorable situations to play much. But and that's just we have to keep preaching. We have to make sure they stay locked in. That hey, if we have a gap of 5 or 6 days, we've got to stay locked in. We can't just rest on the laurels of all right, that's all right. We're ready to go, and that we're all chomping at the bit to get started. Like I said, I mean, we've been working. Everyone's been working, but ultimately, you have to keep them locked in. You have to keep them, even keeled, and to say, hey, listen, if this gets to a point where, we had it last year. I think we had a stretch where we didn't play for like 8 or 9 days, and it's tough to have to get back to it. But you have to figure out ways to to get creative in some practices, and also obviously institute some fun in there as well. I mean, this. And I tell them it's softball. We want to win, but this isn't a job. We want you to, when you're done with this, ideally, I want you to come back and say, this it was some of the funnest years of my life. I don't want you to, to hate softball.
Coach, I know you had one scrimmage already. You have a couple of more before game 1 hits on that Saturday, the 22nd. What's on your coach's checklist of things you want to see in these scrimmages, things you want to kind of get stirred up, or things you want the girls to kind of get accomplished before day 1 hits?
Well, just get better, obviously. I mean, work on the little things that may plague us. I mean, obviously, like I said, I think we preach defense and pitching, and that's something that we hang our hat on. I always have, but just to get a little better. Obviously, when the sticks will come around when it's cold out, everyone's kind of in the same boat. Sometimes takes a little bit to go, get everybody going there, and even in that regard, I tell them, the mentality at the plate is really just pass the bat to the next girl. It's not to go out there and do too much. You can't hit 10-run home runs. You can't win a game in an at bat or in a half an inning. You got to go out there. It's a long game. It's 7 innings. Just really work to. Obviously communicate on the field, and that's another big thing, just to get better as a leader on the field. I don't want 1 or 2 leaders. I want 9 on the field, and obviously 3 or 4 in the dugout, along with them. So really to improve, obviously stay healthy. We've really invested this year in doing a lot more speed and agility stuff, and, preseason to really, try to, limit any kind of type of injuries. I mean, obviously I have a lot of great athletes, so they work, they play other sports. So, it's just really clean up some of the things that, may plague us a little bit right now.
You've been great in embodying and being the head honcho of the Spartans and showing your girls the Spartan way. But I guess I want to know, who is the spirit animal for Fred Anthony Moots?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. We have Ava Freeburg, one of our seniors, has a sock puppet that she has. He's sort of become our mascot. And we had him down last week down there at the Watts Center. And you know what? We played pretty well, so he's going to stick around for a while. So maybe not spirit animal, but spirit sock puppet for right now. And
way to go, Mr. Socko.
Yeah, Socko, whatever. Yeah, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Man, don't you love coaching girls? They're crazy, right?
Oh, it's funny you say it because, obviously I for years I coached some baseball, obviously some football, but it's different. I mean, I tell you, they make it fun. They make it fun to come to practice every day. I know there's obviously days that are tough for everyone. You may not have your best day in school or at home or for all of us in our workplace. But, we try to use softball as that outlet for everybody, even for ourselves. So, everyone, I always hear people say, how can you coach, and how do you, how can you coach high school sports and this and that? Listen, I love it. I love what I do every day. And until that, that stops, it's the best. It's fun. to, like I said, go to work every day with these girls, and they make it easy when, you know, they're very receptive. They listen. They're very, very tight knit group. And, you know, so they make life easier. You know, I hear some other coaches talk about situations in their schools or, you know, what have you. And you know, I don't realize how good I really have it. And then you start hearing stories and it's like, wow, you really do have it pretty damn good. And, you know, one other thing is, you know, it's an honor to be able to coach at obviously my alma mater, you know, and that's, you know, even more exciting, the fact that I get to coach at home and with an amazing group of girls and fellow coaches as well.
Coach Fred, we certainly appreciate you, everything that you do for the community in Boardman, everything that you do for sports in general, because we see you everywhere, refereeing, officiating, and then, of course, coaching in the spring. And you, sir, make it very easy. You make it very fun, too, and I think that's just as important. So thank you for stopping by, giving us a heads up on the Spartans. Good luck to this year to you, the girls, and all sock puppets involved.
All right. Listen, you guys are amazing. And, you know, I feel the same way about you guys. And the exposure you give to our student athletes is unbelievable. You know, DJ, I find myself watching games and to listen to some of the guys and young ladies you have calling games or whatever. It's, you guys have really put a lot of work into making, you know, obviously YSN the best around. You guys you're it. I appreciate everything you guys do. Anthony, you know, I love you, buddy. And obviously, I'm looking forward to the season and looking forward to seeing you guys around too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Merrill Moots. Thanks, Freddie. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
See you, dude. I love them. That's why we love them. And we have run deep into this one. We are going to do our What's Your Spark, and then we're going to make way because there are people stacking up the box waiting to jump on here. So real quick, let's do the Joe Dickey Electric. What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. You can visit them 24/7, 365 on the web at DickeyElectric.com.
My spark is going to be short, simple, and sweet today, DJ. It's just this show. This was a great show today with 4. If you want to count that one as 2 interviews in one, 5 great interviews that we did. It's really fun to finally be able to talk to, you know, these spring sports athletes and coaches.
I'm going to double that up and say it was awesome. I love that we can talk business, right? What's on the field, what's happening, what's to come. But we can also have a little fun with it. You know what I mean? You had a little bit of fun with the coaches. We obviously, that's what we do. Sports is fun. It's what we do. It's why we love it. And I know I make a bunch of jokes about, you know, that's why we love them. No, this is why we love it, because we can be fun. We can be ourselves, and naturally we can make things happen and provide that spotlight in a fun and quirky way. But then when it's time to get down to business, that's what we do. So thanks to all the coaches and players and sock puppets that have made all of this possible, not just for today, but throughout the years. This has been great. It continues to be great, and I think the best is yet to come. Anthony, that's a show. That's YSN Live for the 11th of March, 3/11. Amber is the color of her energy. Whoa. That's going to do it for our show. For Anthony Hartwig, my name is DJ Oakley. We'll see you tomorrow for a Wrestling Wednesday to wrap up the year right here on your Sports Network Live. Bye-bye.